Prabhu, you pull out the first one and bring down the fourth one. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then you bring down the third from the right. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Here the Karta. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari मदन मोहन की, तथा श्रीमद्-भगवद-गीता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So Bhagavad-gita chapter 7 text 29. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tat Viduh Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Cha Akhilam Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tad Viduh Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tad Viduh Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatanti Ye Te
Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Not sure who of you, but somebody is pronouncing as Krishnam. It's actually Kritsnam. Yeah, Kritsnam. So yeah, chant. Jara Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Mataji. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shrityaya Kantiye Te Brahma Tadvidur Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. Jara, from old age, Marana, and death, Mokshaya, for the purpose of liberation, Mam, me, Ashritya, taking shelter of, Yatanti, endeavor, Ye, all those who, Te, such persons, Brahma, Tat, actually that, Viduhu, they know, Kritsnam, everything, Adhyatmam, transcendental, Karma, activities, Cha, also, Akhilam, entirely. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation: intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Please repeat. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They actually know Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Purport: birth, death, old age and diseases affect this material body but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age and disease for the spiritual body, so one who attains the spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in an eternal devotional service, is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, spirit soul. This Brahman conception of life is also in devotional service as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendently situated on the Brahman platform and they know everything about transcendental activities. 4 kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals, and by the grace of the Supreme Lord, when they are fully Krishna conscious, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord and His Supreme Planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized persons cannot reach the Supreme Planet of Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mamashritya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgivings about Krishna and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the form of Archa of the Lord, or who are engaged in meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage, also know by the grace of the Lord the purpose of Brahman, Adhibhuta, etc., as explained by the Lord in the next chapter. So, intelligent person, you feel Jaramarana Mokshaya. This should be the aim of human life, that we should be endeavoring for liberation from old age and death. Because no matter what we do in the matter of advancement of science and technology, we cannot liberate ourselves from old age and death. You see, even the medical science has increased so much, pharmaceuticals have increased and so much talk about nutrition and health, but the number of hospitals, the number of medicines, the number of sick people in the world are always increasing. If you are really advancing towards that cause, then you should be reducing, but it's not. That is proof itself that this is going in the reverse direction, in fact. So nowadays, countries, cities, corporations, they take pride in, or even philanthropists, they take pride in saying that we are building hospitals. But that only means that, that the number of sick people in the world are increasing. So that means we are not advancing actually. Even if sickness is completely eliminated, actually it is not possible in the material world. The only way sickness can be completely eliminated is to get rid of the material body. It is not possible to have a material body and without getting sick, or without old age, without death. So these things are possible when we relinquish our material body and achieve our spiritual body. So actually, not achieve, we actually already have the spiritual body, but it is covered now by this material covering, like a dress. It is explained in the Bhagavad-gita, Vasamsi Jirnani. Vasamsi means dress. In second chapter, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So this dress, when it becomes old and useless, we get a new dress. Similarly, when this body becomes old and useless, we get a new body. So just like our next dress will depend on our financial capacity, how much I can afford, similarly our next body depends on our piety or impiety. There is also an account. Just like money, we have a bank balance. So we have a balance of how much impiety and how much piety we did. And Yamaraj, he actually takes charge or takes note of all our activities, and he accordingly, on the order of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, he executes punishment or reward or whatever. Usually he punishment, Yamaraj, because nobody can be without committing sin. Nobody. Even if we are, that's why there is this yajna called Panchasuna yajna, that every Brahmin must do every day. Panchasuna means the 5 kinds of killing. So this yajna is done to counteract the 5 kinds of involuntary killing that we do every day. Like when we walk, we may kill germs or ants. When we cook, the fire can kill living entities. Even germs. No killing is left without. Nobody goes scot-free after killing somebody. No such thing. So we have to pay even for these kills that we do involuntarily. But to counteract that, there is a Panchasuna yajna that every Brahmin at least performs every day. But of course, in this Kali Yuga, that is not recommended. In Kali Yuga, chanting Hare Krishna is sufficient for all purification. Anyway, the point is this, that we are going in this cycle of accepting birth, disease, old age, death. When we say Jara Marana Mokshaya, when we say old age and death, of course it also implies birth and disease. Because there is no death if there is no birth. The soul actually has no birth and no death. Because the body has birth. Anything that has a beginning has an end. And anything that does not have a beginning does not have an end. So the soul has no beginning, no end. Krishna has no beginning, no end. But the material body has a beginning and an end. And the material creation has a beginning and an end. So, and even if you see any manufactured product, it has an expiry date. If it is manufactured, it is going to expire at some point. So, this cycle of actually 6 changes, birth, growth, staying for some time, producing byproducts, dwindling and then vanishing. These are the 6 transformations anything material will undergo. We take birth, we grow, we stay for some time, produce byproducts, children, and then dwindle, old age, and then vanish. So this is the cycle. So we have to get out of this. We don't have to be in this cycle. Spirit soul has no business here. And therefore, intelligent persons will want to liberate themselves from this cycle. Jara Marana Mokshaya. But even that is already a very high position to even think of liberating oneself from the cycle of birth and death. Because even many people don't even come to that point of, yes, I have to get liberated from the cycle. No. They try, even though it is miserable, this place, they try to make adjustments and compromise and want to stay here and not wanting to move out. By force, they will be taken out anyway, but they always hope that it won't happen. When we talk of death, it is considered very, we should not talk about such bad things. But that is a fact. It will happen. We are going to be separated, we are not going to be together forever. It's not going to happen. So, but when we are in the attachment, we don't even realize, and even if we have, of course everybody knows that we are going to die. Of course everybody knows. But are we doing anything about it? Are we even having it in our vision? We are always planning for so many things. Who plans for death? The maximum they do is plan for the funeral. So they save up for the funeral. There is another illusion. Already this body is a waste. Of course, as long as the soul is within the body, it can be used for advancing in spiritual life. But after it is dead, what is the use of grand funeral or... It's not... Sorry? Yes. So death is always very miserable. So, preparing for a funeral is another illusion. Actually, by advancing in materialism, we are actually preparing only for a funeral. Because that's a spiritual death. It is explained very nicely in the 11th canto. Labdhva sudurlabhamidam bahusambhavante manushyamarthadamanityamapi hathirava turnam yate tanapate anuvrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishayah kalu sarvatah syat. After many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. See? Anumrityu yavan. Anumrityu means it is bound to die. There is no question about saving it. No. With any kind of whatever you want to do, science and technology, cannot do. Anumrityu. But as long as it has not fallen down and died, it is a great asset. When it dies, it's just a lump of flesh. But as long as it has not fallen down, it is a great asset. Why? Because it is as much lump of flesh as of an animal when it dies. When the tissues, the bones and everything, it's going to be the same thing. The worms are going to feast on it, or animals, or the earth, it become ashes. Either way, it's going to be ending the same way. There's nothing special about the human body on that side. But the speciality in human body is that we can actually use this to permanently end our suffering. I think what it was. This thing. 11, 29, 22. Sanskrit. Esha bhuttimatham buddhir manisha cha manishinam yat satyam anriteneha martyena apnoti mamritam. This process, that means about devotional service to Krishna, is the supreme intelligence of the intelligent and the cleverness of the most clever. For by following it, one can in this very life make use of the temporary and unreal to achieve me, the eternal reality. This body is temporary and unreal. But if we can barter this with the eternal reality, Krishna, that's a perfect profit. That's the greatest profit. if we can trade this impermanent body for the permanent reality, then that is the greatest profit. That is intelligence. A good businessman, he makes more profit out of what he spends. That's a good businessman. So, the return on investment, as they say, ROI. So, that ROI has to be the greatest in order for us to be more successful. So, here it is said, see, temporary and unreal. So, this is what human body affords us, the opportunity. But that is possible if we take mamashritya, as today's verse says, mamashritya yatanti ye. The most intelligent, what they do? They take shelter of Krishna. Te brahma tad vidu kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhiram. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. In other words, we cannot actually cross this cycle of birth and death by not taking shelter of Krishna. That is not possible. Samasritaye padapallavaplavam mahatpadam punya yaso murare bhavam budirvatsa padam param padam yat vipadam natesham. Spoken by Brahma himself, Lord Brahma. For those who have accepted the abode of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon, the ocean of this material world is like the water contained in a calf's footprint. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So for those, Bhava Ambudhir means, Bhava means this material world. Ambudhir means ocean, it's like an ocean. How can we cross an ocean swimming? We cannot. We must have a very strong boat, a ship. Then we can cross the ocean. So Krishna's lotus feet is like that boat. In fact, okay, we will actually finish this. Krishna's lotus feet is actually that boat on which we can take shelter and cross this ocean. And of course, on a ship, you still have to endure that journey. But this Krishna's lotus feet, that boat, is so big that the ocean is compared to, it becomes as small, as easily crossable, if there's a word like that, as a calf's hoof print. Hoof of the calf, an imprint of the hoof, how much water it can contain. That ocean will become as insignificant as the water in a calf's hoof print. It means you have a boat which is much bigger than that, it's nothing. So, that's how we actually can cross it. Otherwise, if we try to swim, the greatest swimmer, who is that now? Michael Phelps was there. After that there was, now I think somebody else. So put them in the ocean, ask them to cross. They cannot do it. Nobody, however expert swimmer we may be, we cannot survive in the ocean. So how much ever we may be very, very equipped materially, we cannot cross this ocean of birth and death. It's not possible. But if we take shelter of Krishna, yes, then yes. So therefore, Mam Ashritya, Krishna says, those who endeavor for liberation from the old age and death, take refuge in me. I mean intelligent persons. Those who are not intelligent, there's another class like that also. They want to get liberated, yes, but they don't take shelter of Krishna. They try to become Brahman or Aham Brahmasmi, they also say that. Brahma means spirit. I am not matter, I am spirit soul. That understanding they also have. These are called monists or Mayavadis. They try to become Brahman one with God. They think God and them are both Brahman. Yes, we are both Brahman. But God is classified as Parabrahman. There is another prefix added. Parabrahman means Supreme Brahman. Whereas we are infinitesimal Brahman, insignificant Brahman. So that distinction is always there. What is that? Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janatpa nachayvana bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. The second chapter, Krishna is saying, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. Nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. He's talking to Arjuna. So he's saying, now we're in this battlefield. I, you, and all these things. That means first person, second person, and third plural. That means it includes everybody. Never was there a time when we did not exist as individuals. This distinction of I, you, and they were always there. And now we are standing as individuals on this battlefield. And in the future also we will continue to be individuals. We will never cease to be. That means we will never stop. That means, in other words, monists, impersonalists, they say after liberation we become one with the Supreme Lord. We join back with Him. Now we are separated from Him, and once we are liberated, we join back with Him. And this they call as liberation. But it is not possible. We join with Him in this sense, thus that our desires will be the same as Krishna's desires. Or our desires will be to execute Krishna's desire. We are in full cooperation with His desire. That oneness is there. If the citizens of the country follow the government's directions, they are in oneness with the government. In the sense that they are in full agreement and full cooperation with the law and order. And those who are not, they are called outlaws. They are the ones who are considered separatists. But separate or one, all are always individuals. It's not that they merge with the government. What is that? Doesn't make sense. So like that, the oneness of the devotee and Lord is that they are in full agreement. There is no disagreement between the devotee and the Lord. The Lord says that surrender unto me, give up everything, sarvadharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all material rubbish desires, surrender unto me. And devotee says, yes, I will surrender. Karishye vachanam tava. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, Karishye vachanam tava. I will do whatever you say. That's complete agreement. That is the oneness. If I disagree, then there will be fight, there will be clash. So we all are here in this material world because we disagree with Him. Therefore now we are separate. But we will always be individuals. Whether in separation or in union with the Lord, we will always be individuals. So this Aham Brahmasmi is that I am spirit soul, I am not this body. Separating us from we have to separate ourselves. First stage of realization, as Krishna also, when Arjuna posed his questions, when Krishna started to instruct, first thing he said, actually we are always Krishna's servants, eternal servants. But he did not say that first. First what he said, you are not the body. First he has to detach us from the unreal and then attach us to the real. Only in the 15th chapter he said, Mamayvanso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Everybody is my part and parcel or my servant. 18 chapters of Bhagavad-gita. In the 15th chapter he said this. Until then he was slowly getting us to understand we are not this body. He is detaching us from the unreal. So that is the first thing. Jara marana mokshaya. Because nobody is interested in Krishna here in this material world. Nobody is interested. Actually everybody is interested in their own well-being. If you just ask anybody to, no, you worship Krishna. Why should I worship Krishna? What will I get when I worship Krishna? Why should I? That's all we calculate. What will I get? Why should I do it? I'm not interested. Or if there is something that is going to be of my interest, then I will take it up. We always start like that. This is the impure stage. The impure devotee means, that Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, the impure. What is that? We'll take it again. The impure devotees always start with personal motive. They have something to gain, which is why they take up. So Krishna also knows that. 4 kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals. What is the 4 types of impure devotees? Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinarjuna arto jignasur-artharthi jnani cha bharatarshapha. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. See, all these 4 have something that they want. The distressed, he wants peace. The desire of wealth, it's there in the word itself, he wants wealth. The inquisitive, he wants knowledge. And he who is searching for the knowledge of the Absolute. Inquisitive means just preliminary inquiry. Whereas he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute, he is even higher, he is considered more wise. And he also has something to gain, something to achieve, which is why he is taken to this process. Whereas pure devotional service does not have any motive. This is explained in the Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaytuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation or dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So this is pure devotional service. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Jnana Karma Anavritam. Another verse, it is said that devotional service, the highest form of devotion, pure devotional service means Anya Bhilashita Sunyam. This is the pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. If you see the 4 impure devotees, the first 2 are one material profit, and the second 2 they are there into philosophical speculation. The inquisitive and the wise, they are into philosophical speculation. Whereas the desire of wealth and the distress, they want material profit. So these pure devotional service is above these. But nobody starts here, at least in this material world. Because we always calculate our profit. Therefore Krishna also started like that. First thing in the 2nd chapter he says, this place is miserable. You are crying for what is not worthy of grief, he told Arjuna. That means you are in ignorance, you are in total delusion, you are in confusion, because you don't know what is what, you are in a precarious position, you are unable to solve your problem by your so-called arguments. So that means we are put in a awkward situation. Very awkward. So first we need to understand that we are in an awkward situation. Then I will try to come out of it. First I must know that where I am is not good enough. Then only I will endeavor to go out of that place. If I am very comfortable here, then I will not endeavor. Why? There is a Bengali? I think Bengali proverb. Janani Janmabhumi Swargadapi Gariyasi. One's own family, mother, and one's motherland is more dear than heaven to anyone. Heaven is after death, right? So, I don't want heaven, I want my mother, my Janmabhumi. There are some people say, oh, I was born Indian, I will die Indian. This kind of, patriotism. All these things. These are Swargadapi Gariyasi is more dear than heaven to them. They don't want even heaven. That actually happened in Srimad Bhagavatam. Indra, the king of heaven, he was cursed to become a pig. He was once cursed to take the life of a pig. So, from the heavenly planet, he fell down the earth and became a pig there. And then when the term of the curse was over, Lord Brahma came and told him, so, my dear pig, you are actually not a pig, you are Indra, the king of heaven. So please come back, your curse is over, come back. So he said, no, how can I leave all this, my family, my dear wife, my children, everybody, how can I leave and come? I don't want heaven, I'm very happy here, eating rubbish stool. And he is being offered the post of heaven, the king of heaven. And he's saying, no, why I must go there, I'm happy here, this is my heaven. As I say, ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is donkey's bliss. A donkey is also blissful. Sometimes people say, oh, as long as he's happy, it's okay, whatever he's doing. No. He's happy with what he's doing because he does not know what is happiness. Where is your friend? So, he's happy because he does not know what is happiness. Eating stool every day, having sex with mother, sister or daughter and producing half a dozen children every few months. Is that happiness? That's not happiness. Happiness means jara marana mokshaya. You have a birth, you have disease, you have old age, you have death. These are problems. Krishna is saying, see, you have a problem here. Solve this problem. He did not say first that become my devotee. That is very last, he said. He said, this is the most confidential instruction of Bhagavad-gita, I am telling you. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyajimam. 18th chapter, right at the end. See. Just about 13 verses prior to the close. Yes, Vishwanath. You see this? In 1864 he says, because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. After saying this, he said this. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mamevaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Only at this point he asked Arjuna, become my devotee. Because nobody will be interested in the other person. Even in a relationship in this material world, oh, I love you, so many love stories. But nobody loves the other person. Everybody loves himself. And he wants to be satisfied by being with that other person. This is what the love, so-called love is in this material world. I am happy in your presence. Therefore I love you.